You push out of the egg case in total darkness, into cold. The river is moving around you before you understand what movement is. Your body is the size of a comma. Your legs find the silt and grip it. Your gills, 6 pairs of them, fringing your sides like tiny pale leaves, begin to wave, pulling oxygen out of water that is almost too cold to hold much. Your eyes are already open, but they don't resolve anything yet. Light comes from above in slow columns. Sound is pressure. The current pushes against your tails, and you lean into it. Just lean, without knowing you're leaning. Your mother is not here. She was never here. She dropped the eggs from above the surface, and the river caught them and distributed them, and that was the end of her involvement and the beginning of yours. Within the first hour, something large moves through the water above you. A shadow crosses the silt. Your body presses flat. The gills keep waving, small and constant and invisible against the riverbed. The shape passes. It does not slow. You stay pressed to the silt for a long time after it is gone. The world below the surface has one rule. Anything that cannot see you cannot eat you. 3 weeks into your life in the silt, your legs stop shaking. They shook at first with every current shift, every vibration traveling through the riverbed. Now they find purchase and hold it. Your eyes begin to separate shapes. The pale underbelly of the surface far above, the darker geometries of rocks, the movement of other nymphs working through the debris around you. You are still small, still mostly gills and tails, your abdomen working rhythmically, pulling the river through you. You try to move upstream for the first time, and the current takes you sideways and deposits you against a stone. You try again. Your legs find the rock's texture, and you climb it from below, pressed against its underside, your gills flaring against the flow. You are getting the shape of how the river thinks. A diving beetle larva finds a nymph 2 body lengths to your left. It moves with a directness that the current doesn't account for. The nymph beside you is caught before it finishes its stroke. The larva takes it into a gap between stones. You don't watch. The current shifts in that moment and pulls you sideways and down into a narrow slot in the rock where nothing larger than you can follow. The river put you there. You grip the walls and stay. You eat algae from the rock surface. You eat decaying leaf matter that the current delivers. Your gills never stop moving. Several more molts are coming, and each one will leave you soft-bodied and slow for a period the water does not care about. By late summer, you have molted 11 times, and the river has changed around you. The hatch is months away, but the water feels denser with bodies. More nymphs working through the same corridors of current. More movement in your peripheral vision than there was before. You are not a group in any way that has logic or intention. You are a distribution, a statistical fact. There is no formation, and there is no leader, and nothing in this water is waiting for you to be ready. A rain event hits, and the river rises fast. The silt lifts, and everything you knew as fixed becomes suspended and moving. Your tails spin. You reach for the bottom and find nothing. Your gills work harder and pull less. The water is turbid now, thick with silt, and for a long few seconds, your body drives hard against water that isn't giving back enough. You sweep downstream. A stone catches your legs, and you wrap around it and hold. 3 nymphs that were near you are gone. One of them, larger than you, further along in its molts, surfaces for a moment in the white water and is taken by a shape that was sitting on a rock above the waterline. A beak. The nymph is gone in one motion. The current doesn't change pace. The other nymphs in the water keep moving their gills. You hold your stone until the water drops. Then you find a new feeding surface and begin again. What the river will require next has nothing to do with holding on. By late spring, your body has changed in ways that have nothing to do with choice. Your wing pads sit dark and compressed along your thorax, packed with something that hasn't opened yet. Your eyes have grown to take up most of your head, wide and faceted, built for air and light rather than silt and shadow. You are getting too large for the crevices that kept you safe. The same slots in the rock that used to swallow you whole now stop you at the thorax. A trout finds you in open water between two stones. It comes from below. You feel the pressure change. Your tail filaments register something in the current that isn't current. Your abdomen contracts, one hard curl, and your whole body shoots sideways and up, very fast, and the trout's mouth closes on water. You hit the underside of a flat rock and grip it. Your gills are going hard. Nothing comes. You stay there until the pressure in the water tells you the trout has moved downstream. A nymph that was climbing a weed stem 2 body lengths away doesn't reach the surface. You see it only as a shape going sideways, and then nothing. You resume your ascent. Something is coming, and when it does, the water will be the most dangerous place on Earth, and also the only way out of it. You breach the surface on an evening in May when the light is going gold and horizontal across the river. The molt happens fast. The nymphal skin splits along the thorax, and you pull yourself out of it, while still on the surface film, your wings inflating in the seconds you have before something finds you. The gills are gone, shed with the skin, left floating on the current behind you. You are a different body than you were this morning. Your wings take your weight. You rise. The swarm is already forming above the river, hundreds of you, rising and falling in columns over the water, your twin tails streaming behind you in the evening air. Those long filaments that once read the current now reading the wind as you climb and dip in the same vertical rhythm as every body around you. The light comes through your wings. Your compound eyes take in the swarm at a resolution you have no framework for. Everything is movement and approach and the particular angle of descent. You find a female in the column. The transaction is brief and complete. You have done the one thing your body spent 300 molts building toward. Then something moves through the swarm, fast, angled, coming from above, and the bodies around you scatter. You are already low, close to the water, your tails catching the thermal off the surface. A body drops past you and hits the film and is taken from below. You rise back into the column. The swarm closes behind you and continues. Your tails stream. The light is still gold. There is no predator. That is the last thing your body registers as significant. The absence of anything to move away from. Your thoracic muscles have been running since you breached the surface, and there is nothing left to run them on. The reserves your nymph body spent 300 days accumulating are gone. Your wings slow, not from damage, not from impact. They slow because the fuel is spent, and there is no way to replace it. Your mouth has been sealed since the molt, fused shut, a feature of the adult body that has no other mode. You fall toward the water. Your tails catch air and then don't. The surface comes up. The swarm above you does not pause. The river takes you into the film. The trout that has been holding its position below the riffle finds you without effort. The swarm is still rising and falling in columns above the place where you were. You lived for just under 300 days, nearly all of them in the silt, and you reproduced before the end. Your body ran out of fuel in the air over the water, and the river took what was left. The river kept moving. The swarm kept forming in the evening light over the same reach of water it always has, the same hatch, the same columns rising and falling, the same gold going off the surface as the sun dropped below the tree line.